皆様、ようこそお越しくださいました。ドイツ・ダルムシュタットにある欧州宇宙機関のオペレーションセンターから生中継でお送りします。本日は ESA のEarthCAREミッションの打ち上げが行われます。EarthCAREのすべてを明らかにします。最後までお付き合いください。
Today, we are about to launch ESA's EarthCARE mission, a milestone project with a huge satellite and huge expectations. Hello, dear space community. Hello, friends of physics. And hello to everyone who cares about our Earth. A warm welcome from the European Space Agency's Operations Center here in Darmstadt, Germany. And a warm welcome also to all of our Japanese friends joining us. My name is Kara Monter, and I will be guiding you through our program tonight. While we broadcast live for the next hour, please use the obvious hashtag EarthCare to join the conversation and get involved. While it might be getting late, our program is definitely worth staying up for. We are joined today by some key scientists and engineers of the mission. We have a live link to the control room, and we will show the final sequence before launch, and of course the liftoff, with some stunning images from a bunch of onboard cameras. The countdown is now at T-minus 41 minutes, and will end at roughly 20 minutes past midnight. And for those of you who want to check in again with us later, we'll show you the first signal from space at around 1 o'clock Central European Time. That's 11 UTC. Now, with me is Thomas Ormston, who many of you know as a space expert and who has been working on this mission for 8 years. Let's begin with operation, Thomas.
Absolutely, and we're at one of the most exciting parts of the countdown right now, the roll call. This is where the flight director makes his last big check-in with all of the team, and I think we can listen in right now.
All positions in the briefing loop. This is EarthCARE, roll call. All positions shall report on this loop, responding to my request, quoting your call sign, followed by go or no go. Some go. EOCS go. Spacon go. Data handling go. Platform go. Payload go. Timeline go. Project rep go. Project support go. Software coordinator go. Software support go. Flight dynamics go. OM go. S-track go. Scheduling go. Okay, this completes EarthCARE roll call.
All lights are shining bright and green. A very good start from ESA Ops, isn't it?
It is. We are go for launch at this time from here in Mission Control in Darmstadt, and across the ocean in Vandenberg, the launcher is looking good and is ready to go.
Now, Vandenberg is one of the launch sites on the west coast of the US, and our EarthCare satellite will take off with a Spacex Falcon 9 rocket tonight at about 20 minutes past midnight our time. Now, what's EarthCare all about, Thomas?
So, EarthCare is the 6th mission in ESA's Earth Explorer program, and the largest at 17 meters long in total, carrying 4 completely new instruments that are all looking at one thing, well, actually 2 things, clouds and aerosols. They're locked in this complex dance with sunlight that drives our weather and our climate, but the actual mechanics of this process aren't properly understood.
Which is a catastrophe, because it is one of the key components of global warming. In fact, it is the biggest unknown parameter of the climate debate.
Absolutely, and up until now, scientists have never had an instrument that can study all of these volatile and dynamic processes all in the atmosphere all at the same point.
Up until tonight, because that's exactly why EarthCare has 4 instruments on board. Let's go back to the main control room for a minute, Thomas, and see what they are doing, as we are now at about T-minus 38 minutes of the countdown.
And it was indeed Terada-san's idea to name EarthCare the White Dragon, in Japanese Hakuryu, that brings happiness into the world, just as we expect the EarthCare mission will do for our planet. There are in fact 2 separate processing and data distribution chains, one in Europe and one in Japan, to best serve scientists across the planet. And the mission will start with 2 validation campaigns, also one from Europe and another from Japan.
EarthCare carries 4 state-of-the-art instruments. Its multispectral imager will provide an overview in multiple wavelengths to set the scene. The cloud profiling radar will detect vertical motion within clouds, providing details on their internal dynamics. Its atmospheric LiDAR will detect the top of clouds and provide profiles of the atmosphere with information on aerosols. And its broadband radiometer will measure the reflected sunlight and heat radiated from Earth. Together, these instruments form a powerful suite of tools that will provide unprecedented observations of Earth's atmosphere.
And the 340th overall Falcon 9 mission to date. My name is Zachary Lupin, and I'm an avionics reliability engineer here at Spacex, and I'm joining you from our headquarters in Hawthorne, California. Welcome to our live launch coverage of the EarthCARE mission, a European Space Agency Earth Explorer mission developed as a joint project between ESA and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, or JAXA. Now, the CARE in EarthCARE is an acronym that stands for Cloud Aerosol and Radiation Explorer. Once in space, EarthCARE will collect data to answer questions about Earth's radiation balance, which is a key factor in regulating Earth's climate. It will also measure vertical profiles of cloud particles and aerosols and their fall speed, or the speed at which the particles and aerosols fall through the air. This data will be used for climate research and will improve the accuracy of climate models and support weather predictions. We'll have more to share about today's payload later on in the webcast. Currently, both the vehicle and range are green, and we are on track for an on-time launch at 3:20 p.m. Pacific time. For now, let's meet the vehicle and learn a little bit more about the most flown U.S. launch vehicle ever, our Falcon 9 rocket. Falcon 9 is a two-stage rocket developed and manufactured by SpaceX, known for its safe, reliable, and cost-effective access to space. It is also the first and currently the only orbital-class rocket capable of reflight. Starting at the top of the vehicle is the payload fairing, a protective shell that encases the payload being sent to space. That fairing will separate and jettison away from the vehicle, exposing the payload once Falcon 9 reaches space. Today's payload, currently encapsulated in those payload fairings, is ESA's EarthCARE.
The spacecraft is on internal power.
ESA's EarthCARE satellite. Equipped with 4 primary instruments, EarthCARE will make a range of measurements that together will shed new light on the role that clouds and aerosols play in regulating Earth's temperature. The mission's data will be used for climate research and will improve the accuracy of climate models as well as support higher fidelity numerical weather prediction. Continuing down the vehicle, we have the second stage. Now, the second stage is powered by a single Merlin vacuum engine, or MVAC, which is optimized to perform in the vacuum of space. After stage separation, the MVAC will ignite and carry the payload to its final orbit. The Falcon 9's first and second stages are connected via the black inner stage, which houses the MVAC engine and the system that decouples the two stages during stage separation. And below that is the Falcon 9 first stage, which is powered by 9 Merlin engines. These 9 Merlin engines provide the initial thrust to lift Falcon 9 off of the ground through the lower, thicker part of the atmosphere. And there are 8 engines arranged around one center engine, which are held in place by a structure called the octaweb, a shape designed to maximize efficiency. Now, each of these Merlin 1D engines delivers about 190,000 pounds of thrust at sea level, which gives Falcon 9 a combined 1.7 million pounds of thrust. After stage separation, Stage 1 will return to Earth for recovery and reuse on a future mission using a combination of the Merlin sea level engines and the 4 titanium grid fins located near the top of the booster, which will guide it during its re-entry and landing. The Falcon 9 first stage is also equipped with 4 landing legs that will deploy just before landing to allow for vertical touchdown on a drone ship or landing pad. As you just saw, there's some really exciting science set to happen on this mission, but first we need to get it to space. Now, in order to get the rocket and payload into any orbit, the rocket has to not only go up really fast, but it also has to go sideways. And as the rocket descends, we'll tilt the engines, and that'll turn the rocket horizontally into what's known as a gravity turn. To help demonstrate this concept, we use an analogy popularly attributed to Sir Isaac Newton, who was the first person to formulate a comprehensive theory of gravity in his 1687 Law of Universal Gravitation. Newton asked to imagine firing a cannon from a really high mountain. The cannonball will arc, and then gravity will pull it down to Earth. Now, as you increase the power of the cannon, that cannonball will arc and land farther and farther away. Eventually, if you could continue to increase the power, the cannonball will end up in free fall around the Earth. Essentially, gravity is pulling down on the cannonball, but because of its speed and the curvature of the Earth, it never hits the ground. And this arc that constantly misses the Earth is called an orbit. Modern rockets like the Falcon 9 operate on the same basic principles of gravity and orbital mechanics that Newton described, but with modern technology. And Falcon 9 provides enough power and horizontal velocity to place its payload in orbit above the Earth.
Thanks for pressing for Starlink retract.
Good call out there. You'll be able to see this today by watching the orientation of the Falcon 9 after liftoff. The rocket will go straight up until about the T+10 second mark, at which point we'll begin a shift towards a horizontal orientation from gimbaling the engines. So be sure to look for that after liftoff. Coming up shortly, the transporter erector, or TE, will retract away from Falcon. The TE is the large truss structure you see there next to the rocket. First, we'll see the clamp arms open around the second stage, and then the TE will pull away from the rocket by roughly 77 degrees.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
And there's that call out that Falcon 9 is in startup. Lastly, we're waiting for the launch director, or LD, to give the final go for today's launch.
It's 15. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mission is full power and liftoff. Go Falcon 9 to EarthCARE. Report mission coverage. Take down chamber pressure now. Nico.
Stage separation confirmed.
And back ignition.
Stage 1 boost back burn.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there you heard and maybe even saw those 6 events that happened back to back, which again were MECO, stage separation, stage 1 flip, second engine start 1, the first stage boost back burn, and fairing separation.
Stage 1 landing light deployed.
And there you have it. Falcon 9 has
Stage 1
successfully
landing confirmed.
Falcon 9 has successfully
Stage 2 FTS is saved.
Stage 2 is in terminal guidance.
Good call-outs there. Falcon 9 has successfully landed at landing zone 4 at Vandenberg. This was the 7th launch and landing for this first stage. And this landing marks SpaceX's 314th recovery of an orbital class rocket, including first stage landings for Falcon 9 and Falcon Heavy. Coming up next, we'll hear a call-out for SECO 1, or second engine cutoff 1, on the Falcon 9 second stage, currently on your screen.
MVAC shutdown.
And there's that call-out for MVAC shutdown on the second stage. We're now waiting for confirmation of nominal orbital insertion.
EarthCARE separation confirmed.
And amazing view there on your screen. Successful deployment of the EarthCARE payload. And with that confirmation, we'll be bringing today's webcast to a close. Today's mission marks SpaceX's 351st overall mission to date and 56th mission of this year. We want to thank the European Space Agency and JAXA for entrusting us with today's mission, and all of you for joining us this afternoon. If you're interested in following the EarthCARE mission further, tune into youtube.com/ESA for more. And if you're interested in more launch coverage, be sure to check out spacex.com/launches for the most up-to-date information. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you again soon.